was probably leading up to this game. We were giving up too many scoring chances, and we did get a lot of shots tonight, but didn't deserve to win the hockey game. And that's the result we got.
Our defensive zone has been struggling, and I think we're worrying about too much offense, and we got to start worrying about our defensive zone and take care of that first, and the offense will come.
Hi, Penguins fans. My name is Josh Yohe. I'm joined by Dejan Kovacevic, back from Bradenton. Welcome back. And
see the tan?
He's done a little bit of a tan there, and not a real great game to attend. Dejan, the Penguins had won 10 in a row at home, and rather stunning loss, I would say, to the Islanders. You don't think stunning? Surprising.
The Islanders, and you can feel free to tell me if you feel differently.
They don't stink.
They have talent.
Right.
They have players who can make skilled passes. We saw that when they sprung the breakaway there before Okposo's shot. Terrific shot, by the way.
Yeah.
Marc-Andre Fleury was not at his best. I don't think anybody would dispute that, least of all Fleury. 5 goals on 18 shots. I don't care who that's to. That's not playing your best.
Right.
But at the same time, the Islanders showed up. Sometimes teams like that, you hear that phrase all the time about teams that don't have anything to play for. They show up, they're carefree, they were creative, they had some fun out there. Penguins put a ton of shots on Nabokov, didn't have them go in. Fleury did. Ball game.
Yeah, 54 shots on net. There is something to be said for that. One great thing about the Penguins, they never give up even when they're behind, and they were bombarding the goaltender until the end, but it wasn't good enough. And a lot of the players after the game, Dejan, used the word greedy, and they said we're getting a little too greedy offensively. And it's been pretty clear to see when Crosby came back and they started scoring all these goals. Maybe it almost came a little too easily to them, and Coach Dan Bilesman was not real thrilled with the defensive work tonight.
It's interesting. One of the interviews that I did for the column that I have running tomorrow, comparing this team to the 93 team, coincidentally, given the opponent, was with Ray Shero. And when I mentioned to Ray Shero that, this team has been scoring a lot of goals lately and has drawn some superlative, probably over-the-top comparisons, Ray came back right away with, we're not that kind of team. We're going to have a spurt where we score a bunch of goals, and we've seen that lately. There's obviously some great offensive talent, but that's not what they're built on. When you look at a game like this, and the Penguins are talking about being greedy, it's not just about having 4 guys deep. It's all over the rink. That's where Bilesma and his coaching staff see it. They'll see something that happens in the defensive zone that they'll see as greedy offensively.
Yeah, I would agree with that, actually. And it doesn't hurt to have Crosby and Malkin, of course. The goals will come theoretically as long as you play sound defense, which we didn't see tonight. And now Dejan, the Penguins have fallen 3 points behind the Rangers, and there's still a few games left, and the Penguins still play New York in this building next week. And let me ask you, how big of a deal is that 1 seed?
Nothing matters after the 1-8 matchup was blown between Pittsburgh and Winnipeg that really would have set the hockey world on fire.
All goes back to Winnipeg,
But in this case, look, it's shaping up 4 versus 5. They're going to play the Flyers. What they have to play for here, obviously, for the rest of the way, is home ice, which will matter.
Yes.
In this round, I don't think you want to open a playoff series with 2 games in Philadelphia. Not that they'd shy away from it, shy away from the challenge. They've obviously been a good road team. They've done well in Philly at times, but they do have something to play for the rest of the way.
All right, no question. And they've beaten Philadelphia twice in the playoffs recently and jumped out 2-0 in both of those series. So home ice isn't a big deal.
I also did a series where they jumped out a few years ago where they jumped out to a 2-0 series lead on the road and came back. And, well, you know
Keith
how
Primo
that
had
was
something
the
to do with
Keith
that.
Primo series.
Yes, it sure was. Well, it's the playoffs, and anything can happen. We know that. And the race with the Rangers isn't over yet. Who knows what will happen. Another big game coming up Thursday night on the island for the Penguins. Right back to red-hot Buffalo Friday night, then back here at home Sunday afternoon against the Flyers, Dejan. So
it's a nice
quite
test,
a week,
too.
huh?
I like the idea of the Penguins going right back to playing the Islanders again. The Islanders can skate.
Yeah.
Again, I know some of these goals were fluky. Michael Grabner's goal obviously was awful for Fleury to give up. But Grabner, some of these other guys, and
John Tavares is really good.
Tavares is not necessarily super fast, but when you look at the one-on-one move that he made against Z, that's a tremendous, big-time, elite one-on-one move. They have some good players, and I think they'll present the Penguins with a challenge, especially if Bilesma wants to go back to a back to basics approach in terms of defensively, the Islanders do present a good challenge there.
Yeah, I wouldn't look for a shootout Thursday night in Long Island, given what Dan Bilesma and the players said. Expect a better defensive performance. Frankly, it couldn't be a whole lot worse than what we've seen.
Would you want to see Brad Thiessen back in? That's another question. This is 63 games now for Fleury.
It's a big number.
Yes.
It's a big number, and it's a concern for the Penguins. It has been for a while. We shall see. I don't think Fleury will play both games in the back-to-back games Thursday and Friday night, Long Island and Buffalo. And I would think you'd rather have Fleury play in Buffalo the way the Sabres are playing right now. That's my hunch.
You would think so. Plus, if Buffalo is lining up, if the Penguins were to make it into the number 1 seed as a potential number 8, I'd want Marc-Andre Fleury to see more of their shooters and get a better read on that.
Very good point.
I'd like to see Thiessen on Thursday night.
Well, it should be interesting, Penguins fans. All kinds of games coming up Thursday, Friday, and Sunday. Make sure you check www.triblive.com for all the latest. He's Dejan Kovacevic. I'm Josh Yohe, and this is Trib Total Media.